County Rescue Squad Advisory Commission, July 25th, 2024. Call to order, 6 o'clock. Good evening, everybody. Approval of the minutes for June 27th, 2024. Everybody review that.
Yes.
Make a motion to accept.
I see one edit,
Oh.
item 6, third bullet. The word per should be just before year, so it would read 6 per years. Is that correct?
Per year.
Per year.
And that's referencing the number of meetings per year a member would have to attend in order to maintain active status.
I'll make a motion to accept it with the correction.
Second.
All in favor? Passes. All right, item 3, public comment. Would anybody from the public like to speak tonight? Okay. Commission member comments. Commissioner Land's report, I don't have anything. I'll do it in my region update. We'll move into committee reports. Radio Committee, Commissioner Zahn and myself. We didn't meet. An active got sent out today saying we'll reschedule. So we'll get with Aaron on that and get a next date. If there's no questions, and
Maybe Eli has something to it. We'll wake him up.
I think you'll be under radio.
Might you have anything, Eli?
Yeah, under the presentation for radio stuff, under radio presentation, is we have just information.
Okay. Incentive Committee, Commissioner Zahn, Commissioner Wilbanks.
No meeting.
Not me.
SOG Committee, myself and Commissioner Wilbanks. We did the revision last month. I haven't heard any more edits, so if anything that we need to touch base on. But as always, if there's anything that looks like it needs updated or any suggestions, please reach out to the Rescue Squad Advisory Commission, and we'll take it into consideration. Training Committee, Commissioner Wilbanks, Commissioner Raver.
We did not meet last month. There were several absent that would have been able to provide information on different things, so we did not meet. We're still waiting on definite answers about the new EMR program and what we're going to do with that. And if Chief Carroll would like to elaborate on that, that'll be fine.
I'll talk about it in mine.
Okay. And once we get that in place, I guess we'll be re-looking at the training document for the SOGs.
Are
Once
y'all,
we have all that information.
are y'all still accepting surveys that y'all sent out?
We can resend it.
I'll send you an email.
Okay, that's all I have.
Any
Can I ask a
questions?
question about, this training? Never mind. I'll bring it up later.
Okay.
If there's no questions or comments for committee reports, we'll move into item 7, Mike Carroll's report.
All right, everybody, good evening. The new vehicle updates, the Rescue 4 vehicle, lights added. There was a recall on the tires to switch those out. Those are at, it's done. I gotta pick it up tomorrow at Scenic and then switch it out with Rescue 5's new truck. The Rescue 4 vehicle's gotta go back to have a radio switched out. They had to put the, Otipool installed the wrong radio in it, put a sheriff's department radio in it. So I can take it back tomorrow to get that worked out, and then from there, it should be going in service probably first week of August. Westminster truck, it's in line to get the lights, everything's there except for installation of the lights. So it shouldn't take that long. It's, they're finishing up the fire marshal truck now, and then that's the next one in. New vehicles for this year, we're getting quotes on those now. Got a really good one in for Salem Rescue, replacement. I gotta get, the competing Chevrolet loan on that, or loan, bid for that one. So that'll hopefully go out. Hopefully we'll get that, there's how many meetings in August for the council? 2?
No, only one.
Only one. It may have to wait till September, depending if I get the quote and everything back. And then one other truck coming up this year. And it's probably gonna be a Chevrolet. Westminster City just ordered one through, the Chevy dealer in Anderson, and they said they're a pretty good turnaround and a pretty good price. So that's also with the, Salem truck right now. They're brand new to state contract. So, working on that. Anybody have any questions?
You said Rescue 2 was for one. Who's the other one slated to get a truck?
Looks like right now, so this year it's gonna be Rescue 3. They have a high mileage unit.
And the Rescue 4 and Rescue 5 truck, I know the Rescue 4 truck had a recall on tires. They were like twin trucks. Did they have different tires on the Rescue 5 truck?
No, Rescue 5's going in tomorrow. I'm just switching.
I got you. So they all had to get switched.
There's all of them, something about the tires, that whole batch of SSVs, for some reason, they put the wrong tires on.
Okay.
That's what the guy said yesterday, at the Cynic.
That's all I have.
All right, response report. 6 months into this calendar year, Rescue 1, 988 dispatch calls, and they made basically 99.3% of them. Outstanding. Rescue 2, 244 dispatch calls and been on every single one of them. Good job there. Rescue 3 and Rescue 4, kind of mid that area, both of them in the high 5, mid 600s. They're making about 40% of those calls. Westminster Rescue, again in mid-level, 600. Over the past 3 months, they have improved with a bunch of new members running. They've added a total of, Steve, let me say, 6 new EMRs.
Well, three a month or two ago, and then now there's another 3.
Yeah.
Just
They're
being
picking
in.
up calls daytime. They had an old member join back. Last month, they actually met 63% of their calls. So that's real good, bringing their half-year percentage up to 57. Mountain Rest, I will talk about that in a little bit. They're struggling with membership right now and leadership. Kiwi, still bouncing right along with their averages. They dropped down a little bit. They run 114 calls this year, made 64% of those. Dive and Special Rescue, both have had 14 calls this year and 100% on both of those. Anybody have any questions? Training. I was not at the last month's meeting, and it was put out. Upstate EMS Council has discontinued their EMR program. We looked at around, and right now, one of the ones out there is ASHI, through the Health and Safety Institute. We have got our franchise for that, and we're gonna use their basic EMR, Mercy Medical Responder, and then we're gonna, I talked with the Prisma training and through the doc, and also Aaron Dix. We're gonna add the modules that we need to meet what we do extra. And we'll probably be teaching using their curriculum and giving you the new, we'll have a Oconee County EMR card also. You can have a HSI card, just says you you met theirs. However, this or the Oconee County card will say you had the additional stuff that wasn't in their course that we do in this county. So more of that, we're still working on that. This coming week, this coming Wednesday, EMR continuing ed will be at headquarters in Westminster. BLS, I met with the Prisma training team last week, and Dr. Beltrain pretty much we were doing it already, but the other agencies in the county who use his license to operate, needed to get online with doing, continuing education and a program. So they put forth a program that they used in Oconee County, in Greenville County. Started out 2 years ago with all the agencies they cover there. And it's basically the curriculum set, and it'll be in a repository where what course we want to teach that month, we can pull and use their graphics and, everything that goes with that course for CEP. And it's vetted through a CEP agency. So we're gonna do that. More of that to follow. But as always, they were fine with our training. They've seen our training, SOG, and know what we do for our members and what we're gonna require from our members, and they're great with that. It was just getting everybody on the same page in the county. Anybody have any questions?
I know we touched briefly on it last month. Upstate, their renewal was every 3 years. Ashley's every 2 years. That Oconee card, what would it be?
We'll probably have to use it every 2 years. That's some of the things we're working on. Who to say that, tomorrow this new Department of Health will come in and say they're gonna regulate EMRs also? They were supposed to be in a town hall meeting, not to get off subject, but this kind of do as a training. There was supposed to have been a town hall meeting today in Anderson that I was going to attend, going over the new breakup of DHEC with the new public health agency, and all the players was supposed to be there, but they canceled them all over the state this past week. So, haven't got anything else from them. Gonna start digging for some more info. But it's a kind of wait and see situation with them right now. Anybody have any questions? The EMT class did start through the fire academy, and I wanna say we had 10 people in it, from across the county. So, that'll finish up in six months or so.
Do you know how many were volunteers?
No. Well, that's a tricky subject, because there's only 2 in Page County, some of them. So. All right. Incentive. It's 2 months away, the final month. Make sure you can get on the chiefs. We have some, set up to do the required county incident command training. I've done a couple of them at Rescue 4, Rescue 2, I'm going to Rescue 3. So the other rescue squads need to get with somebody to have them talk soon, because that's a requirement for incentive. And that's one of the hours of the 20 required for your incentive this year. Physicals. Not a lot of time to get those in. So I'm gonna have a list, we have a chiefs meeting next week, Thursday, be the first Thursday of the month on the 1st. I'm gonna give everybody a rundown of what their squad has at that time, so they know where they're standing. And that's it for me. Does y'all have anything?
As far as the training hours in ERS, I know that several of those haven't been reviewed lately. Is there someone helping get that done so that we can make sure the hours are calculated correctly for that?
I'll check on that tomorrow.
Okay.
If there's no other further discussion, we'll move into Director Crown's report.
So we're gonna, radio presentation, you wanna set him a PowerPoint? You got it zip drive? Or,
Mike's logged in, I emailed it to you and him.
okay,
You got your email.
if you wanna distribute that, printed. We just wanted to, take the opportunity to try to catch up on some of the stuff we're working on the technical services side. Not just radios, because understand, part of their job is getting the trucks upfitted. They're doing a lot more than just radios, so we just wanted to kind of do an overview of all the different stuff and capabilities and stuff that, we're working through, and then talk some radio stuff. That work for you?
Oh, no,
I can log into mine real quick if you got a computer up.
no, it's gonna stay.
Is it gonna pop up? You need one?
So he said he couldn't get it, so I got one.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Okay, so can't get it to get on the screen, but
Okay.
so just a couple updates from the technical services side, emergency services. We've been, kind of new in the last, I guess, about 8 months or so since, Aaron started kind of focusing on this, and then, myself since February. Started out as a heavily radio programming, specific function, and then as we kind of got into it, learned that, radio programming touches a lot of different things from, our continuity government stuff to infrastructure piece of the radio system to IT-related things. There's a lot of different pieces that it touches. So just kind of some of the background. Aaron came on full-time last December, and then I started in February, and a portion of his job is planning the other parts, radio programming and technical services pieces, and then I'm part-time and focus on specifically radios and technical services pieces. I just kind of broke down over the last, since March, which is kind of really when we got ramped up with moving on some of these projects. So from March until now, just kind of some of the things that we've been focused on and been able to accomplish, and then towards the end of this, some of the pieces that we still have further progress. So starting in March, we made an initial pass to standardized programming across the entire emergency services staff, so all the fire guys, emergency management, all the vehicles, just to make sure that at least that initial round of programming was correct across all of those. We found some issues. And that was around 60 portable radios plus a bunch of vehicles that we were able to touch and get updated there. And that was just kind of an initial, let's fix the stuff right now today. From there, we started visiting fire chiefs, the rescue chiefs, some of the department meetings, dive and special rescue, trying to just get out and kind of get in front of people, understand what challenges they were experiencing and what was working well, what wasn't, and then just kind of get in front of people to meet with them. We've been engaged with the radio committee to work on getting a standardized radio template built and deployed. That's been a project that's been ongoing for quite some time, and we've been able to make a lot of progress towards getting that finished. And then kind of rounding out March, we started attending some monthly coordination meetings that had already been going on between the hospital's dispatch and our dispatch, and then Mike and that group. So just kind of getting engaged in the technology piece of the dispatch coordination. Moving into April, we were able to get a complete inventory and reallocate some radios among our staff. So we switched from people being individually issued radios to station assigned radios, just to improve some of the accountability and efficiency of the way we had resources deployed. We had an initial meeting with the technical services guys over at dispatch, so Captain Ward and Chris Belcher from the sheriff's office. And then that's an ongoing meeting that we've now set quarterly. So we're sitting down with them routinely and really improving the two-way communication that we have between our departments, where I think historically there's been more of a breakdown in that communication. So just having that regular communication and talking with those guys has been exceedingly helpful. And then moving into this next meeting that we have coming up, we've also looped in the Sergeant Sayre with the drone program, and then the county IT guys. So we're kind of all the pieces that touch technology, trying to get everybody at the table and make sure that we're all working towards similar goals. And then one of Director Krine's directives was for us to kind of take on overseeing upfitting pieces for all the new vehicles that come into the county, or anything that's got electronics, emergency lighting, radios, any of those kinds of issues that needed to be addressed, so that we had somebody really focused on that, a single point of contact with motor pool, and that we're making sure the vehicles are getting moved through that process as efficiently as we can, just to get things processed back out. Moving into May, did a full inventory across the entire EOC, all of our technology, just to make sure everything was updated. We had replacement plans in place and all of those types of things. And then we started working on developing a field comm program, which is really where some of this starts touching field response. So we were able to get a vehicle allocated to us that was existing, the 2022 F-250, and we've been consistently working since then to create kind of a program for bringing communications assets into the field, whether that's a special rescue call where we're out in the woods without any communications, or just an area that has less radio coverage, or a multi-alarm house fire or something where we might need batteries or charging or additional cache radios, those types of things. So that's, the physical vehicle is a process that we're working to get upfitted, and it'll ultimately have lots of different pieces of communication, which kind of hits on the next piece. We were able to acquire a Starlink, basically satellite internet device, which is a major upgrade from what we had previously, called VSAT. About roughly 10 times faster in internet speeds, basically 24/7 unlimited service, and much more practical just in the size and those pieces. So that makes it a lot easier for us to get satellite internet out into the field if we're, like I said, in an area that doesn't have cellular coverage, or we have an internet failure of some other kind, be it at the EOC or really anywhere in the county. That gives us a really good opportunity to have backup internet or get internet out into the field. June, we did kind of started out a multi-phase process. We upgraded all the phone technology at the EOC over to the county's voice over IP system, which is a major upgrade from the analog phone system that we've been using for quite a long time. That kind of got us in line with the way that the rest of the county's government operates, and really expands our capabilities for telecommunications from the EOC and supporting emergencies, continuity of government, all those types of things from there. We also were able to, using some grant funding that was available towards the end of last fiscal year, make a pretty significant purchase with some P25 compatible repeater equipment. And that will essentially give us more capacity on the radio system, and will be largely geared towards making a better use of what's currently analog Fire 2. So that'll give us a digital pathway to split that into two different talk paths, and through some upgrades as that equipment comes in and we get those put in, it'll be more similar to how, I guess, kind of a hybrid between our analog channels work with voting versus being the part of the digital system. So be a pretty major substantial upgrade to our capabilities to have additional capacity on the system and support some of the projects that we've got in progress now. And that equipment's been ordered. We're expecting delivery during Q3 this year. Everything's with supply chain a little further taking time to come in, but that's a major upgrade to the system that'll be in progress over the next few months. Moving into, we've got a pretty major biannual full-scale exercise with the nuclear station coming up. So we're kind of ahead of that. We've been doing a major spring cleaning project just within the EOC, getting everything inventoried, updated, some stuff moved around and organized, and kind of supporting some of that work from the technology piece. And we've also, on the radio side, engaged a vendor that came in and met with us and kind of did some feasibility conversations, feasibility study, and basically looking at our entire radio system as it exists today. And they're working on a report to bring back to us with options. So it's not, it wasn't a meeting of this is what we have, but we want this. It was, this is what we have. Come back and give us some options for what it looks like today, and what some options to meet goals that we have in the future for increased ability to communicate between departments, for expanded system capacity, those types of things. So we're still waiting on that report to come back, and we'll certainly give you guys an update as we get it. That's certainly a long-range planning piece. I'll emphasize that. We're not, unless somebody's got some spare change, not going to be looking to replace the entire system this year or anything like that, but we're trying to just be forward-looking and have a plan to make those upgrades over time. And then this past month, we got, actually just last week, 9 brand-new Kenwood NX 5000 series radios in that are being programmed this week, and those are gonna be assigned to the staff primarily that support Station 21, so some of the station assigned radios as well as some of the shift officers that are assigned out there. And that's kind of a testing piece for us, so several of us at the EM office have been carrying these Kenwood radios. Some of the guys at other departments in the field have some of those. But we really wanted to put them in the hands of people that are running calls every single day and consistently using them, and just really put them to the test and make sure that they're functioning the way that we believe that they are. One of the key benefits there that we'll get into a little more is that it's gonna give the guys at the fire station the ability to pair with their air packs and communicate through their face piece, and hopefully give them a lot better communication in that way to provide a safer communication environment when they're inside an atmosphere with their air pack on. From the technical services side, we supported the dress rehearsal a couple weeks ago for the full-scale exercise from a technology standpoint, and we'll certainly be there to support the actual drill coming up in August. Just this past week, we finalized and completed the transition to the new phone system, and completed a installation and deployment of the station alerting system of Station 21. So that's kind of what we've been up to since March. I know a lot of you guys have seen us out and about and heard us on the radio, seen us on some calls and things, so I just wanted to kind of give you some updates about what we do, because a lot of it's behind the scenes and a lot of it is not directly related to things that impact day-to-day calls that you necessarily see and touch every day, but a lot of it's pretty key work that's being taken care of in the background. So some ongoing projects that we've currently got, radio updates, that'll be countywide, every fire station, every rescue squad, everybody that's got our fire rescue VHF radio system, we're gonna go through and with the support of the programmers from the radio committee, essentially touch every radio in the county. Make sure that all the IDs are consistent. We identified some issues where radio IDs on the digital system were creating some problems and causing some repeaters to lock up at times. Making sure that all the frequencies are correct, all the technical details programmed into the radio are correct, to try to address some challenges that people have, as well as to make sure that the programming is consistent across all the radios. And so that'll be a pretty major undertaking that will be starting beginning of next month and probably carry us through probably October, just depending on meeting schedules and when we're able to get our hands on all those radios and work with people. And we'll be, like I said, engaging some people from the radio committee and looking to have support from them. Certainly not something Aaron and I are looking to do by ourselves or take over completely. Kind of right in line with that, we've got an ongoing project for assigning operations channels at the time of dispatch. So essentially, you guys have probably heard it on the radio when there's a call in Station 21's primary area, they're getting assigned to Fire Digital 2. That frequently impacts Rescue 1 and sometimes Seneca. So any calls that are in Station 21's primary area are going to that channel. That is something that we're looking to expand, and essentially will be the case where there's an operations channel assigned to every call that's dispatched, regardless of what area it's in. There's some work that's ongoing to get some equipment upgraded, to get some processes and training done in dispatch. And so there's a lot of work that's going on in the back end for that, and we're gaining a lot of information with the trial that we're running with Station 21. And we're looking to expand that more probably in like Q4 timeframe this year as we get some of those updates taken care of. And then the last piece on ongoing projects is standardizing radio equipment. And that's kind of what we will hit on next. And that ties right into what Director Krein mentioned about some recommended or standard radio equipment. That's been something we've gotten lots of questions about, is what radio are we supposed to be buying? If we need new radios, what's recommended? What do you guys want us to buy, what do we need to buy, what works with the system. So essentially what we did, the second packet that I gave you is some options. We essentially provided a Kenwood and a Motorola option for portables and for mobiles. There's a lot of information and pricing things there, and then towards the bottom of each of those sheets, I tried to break it down to basically the basic recommended configuration and the costs tied to some of that. Aaron and I are certainly happy to help you guys with making selections and figuring out which options you need or don't need. What we were able to break down essentially is that there's both for portables that you carry and mobiles in the vehicles, there's a Kenwood and a Motorola option that we've been able to test extensively on the system and shown that both of them work quite well. Costs are actually very similar between the two. There are some benefits and pros and cons between the two. So for example, the Kenwood radios don't have any recurring service contract costs, and they also support multiple different types of digital protocols. So we currently use what's called DMR. The Kenwood radios will support P25, which is a public safety standard for digital radio transmissions, and NextEdge, which is what's used, for example, in Pickens County now. So they support multiple different types of protocols. And on the mobile side, for example, if you had a use case for having multiple different bands, VHF, UHF, or perhaps an 800 radio in your vehicles, those can be added multiple decks to a single control head, which reduces the amount of stuff that has to be mounted in the vehicle and the cost associated with those control heads. So that's some of the pieces on the Kenwood that were attractive to us and that we considered when we were looking at these options. And then, as I mentioned earlier, with the ability to pair those portable radios with the air packs that the county uses, which I realize impacts the fire departments a little more than rescue for the most part, but that was an added feature. When we originally started buying the Motorola equipment, that was not communicated very clearly from Motorola that they do have Bluetooth, but it doesn't work with the air packs that we use in the county. So, and then moving past the Kenwoods, there's the Motorola R7, which is the replacement for the 7550, which is probably the one that you guys are most familiar with as far as a portable radio goes. That's what most people in the county are carrying today. It's been discontinued and replaced with the R7. It was recently discontinued, so it's got a few years of being supported. They don't need to be immediately replaced, but that's the Motorola equivalent for a direct replacement on the Motorola option. And then just because we've gotten some questions about it, the very last page is the VP8000, which is a tri-band, multi-band portable radio. It's quite expensive, but we've gotten some questions from different departments, so we put some information together about that. So all of the different radios in this packet will work and are supported on our system. The Motorola option does have one of the things that we recently learned with being able to do firmware upgrading and supporting the radio long-term. Once it exceeds the manufacturer's warranty, there's an annual service contract that's required to be able to continue to do updates. So that was a consideration that some of the departments had asked about as we were looking at radio options moving forward. Any questions on that before I go too far? Yes, sir.
Are we gonna have another radio committee meeting before radios are gonna start being programmed?
Yes, yeah, I think Aaron's looking to get that rescheduled next week or very soon before we start pushing out programming and make sure that everybody's on the same page on the template. I know we're finishing up a couple of just kind of getting everybody input before we roll that out. So we're gonna get together with the committee again.
Were you able to ascertain why we got a much higher price from the Kenwood dealer than was quoted at the last
For
dive
Rescue
meeting?
7. For Rescue 7. For the dive team. Yes, yeah, they corrected that quote and it's
They didn't send it.
oh, you didn't get it? Okay, I apologize. I'll follow up on that right now, but
Thank you.
But yes, it has been correct. They sent the correct pricing back. I thought you were on it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. They were nice enough to send me the first quote. A high one.
Yes.
Got one.
If,
Um,
if we were to give this to the chiefs and tell them to decide what they wanted, their eyes would glass over.
Totally agree.
So maybe it would be good for us to just give them a,
Sure, just like a packet of simplified, yep, absolutely. Be happy to put that together, get you guys more simplified,
also, I'm still hearing lots of concerns from the different chiefs about if they're assigned a digital channel and they will not hear any other dispatches in their area.
Steve, I'll take that one. If you're assigned to a call, that's your call.
Right.
If you want to listen to other radios, you need another radio. You should be focused on the call you're on. If you're treating a patient, you shouldn't be listening to another radio. That's one of the reasons why we want to segment it, is you can focus on that call. That incident commander can focus on that call and not have all the other radio traffic from the whole county talking over a system to that, especially on rescue calls, on structure fires and those calls, those Swiftwater calls where we're trying to make life safety decisions, but you're listening to 20 different calls going on or whatever that may be, especially when it gets real busy. Yes, it is a deterrent that you can't hear anything, okay? And with Rescue One, we made a workaround to where if they get another call, the incident commander will be called by dispatch to say, hey, can you free somebody up? And working on some stuff like that. That's why we started the test in Rescue One, the Bountyland Fire District, to do a small test with paid staffing there, that we know is gonna be on every call, and Rescue One, who we knew it's a busy area, so we knew we were gonna get a lot of the problems. But it doesn't change the fact of you're on a call. If you have 10 people on that call and you don't need 10 people on the call, release the people and get them off the call. Then they can go back to the dispatch channel and they can monitor that call. And, that is a deterrent, but it is, for safety purposes, the way it should be done. Just because we've always done it wrong for the inception of emergency services doesn't mean we need to continue doing it wrong, so.
Thank you.
we have been able to support some people just with making sure that they're getting their active alerts, or if they have pagers
Right.
and they're still getting alerted in some way, and then, like you mentioned, with, having dispatch call over and make the department aware if they've got another call in their first due area.
I have a question about affordability.
Sure.
Are you familiar with our budget, rescue
Roughly.
squads?
Generally, yes.
So we get $30,000 a year. Every expense counts. So to buy new radios it's nearly impossible for us. Is there another affordable option? Because we would have to upfit 20 people with 20 radios. It's 2 years of budget and having nothing left.
So, existing radios still work. They don't need to be immediately replaced, which is one good thing. This is mostly just trying to standardize as we buy things moving forward. These are really the kind of the two standards that are, radios are just more expensive now, and that's kind of just the nature of the beast. There are some grant opportunities that we're exploring and trying to share with people as we find them, and doing what we can to make that transition affordable, but there's in general not a need to completely replace your entire set of radios unless there's issues or you've got something that doesn't work on the digital system, which I know there are some of those floating around, but I think for the most part, folks have digital capable radios.
So we're not changing anything that eliminates any radios. This is if you're buying new radios,
Okay.
These are the recommendations for those. It's not that you have to go to these from the ones you already have.
Okay.
We're trying to identify for the future. And one of the reasons why we did the P25 upgrade when we got that grant money was radios are not eligible to be purchased on federal grant money unless they're P25 compatible.
Yeah.
So we're trying, and we don't have any system that's P25. So if we build a piece of our system that's P25, and we can then apply for grants to try to get radios, that are P25 radios to help us with that. But right now, that we can't even go down that road.
The
Because,
reason I came up, because he had mentioned a 3-year limit on servicing the 7550.
oh, yeah, and that's coming. You're right. I mean, and we just found out about they just told us, sorry.
What happens at that time, that 3 years up? Does the radio quit working, or we
No,
just
it still
When
works.
it
it's
breaks.
just- Yeah.
When it breaks.
shut things down remotely?
So Motorola and, I mean, really any manufacturer, Kenwood's the same way, and Fatal Points and lots of other things, but, when something goes into life, typically the manufacturer will support it for a number of years. I think Motorola's 5 years, and so since that 7550 has been discontinued, they'll continue to support it for some years, and then, parts will be, but they'll be increasingly harder to find, that kind of thing, but it certainly won't just stop working. And we've got some original 7550s that were some of the first batches from Motorola and have not been cleaned or updated or touched or anything for 10+ years, and they still work, so they're pretty solid units, but they're, just, that was more just to share, options as we look towards upgrades in the future, or as departments need to make upgrades.
Do you know how many radios are out there that are not digital compatible, that are
So-
being used?
So we do for mobiles. I don't have an exact number for portable radios. For mobiles, we do, and that's kind of as the second to last slide that we were going to talk about, the channel assignment transition. One of the pieces to that that's really key, we're doing a small scale trial with Station 21 and Rescue 1 and those guys, and there were several reasons that was the area that was chosen. One of them being that we were confident that every vehicle that was responding in those areas had digital capable radios. If dispatch is assigning you to a call that's on a digital channel and you have radios in your truck that don't have digital capability, that creates a challenge, of course. So we did go through and with the assistance of Chief Smith's staff, we're able to go through and identify what type of radio is in every single county-owned apparatus across the entire county. And that second to last slide with the graph shows by department, the letters are a little small, but by department, how many, the blue bar graph, how many radios they have that need to be replaced before, that are not digital capable. And then the orange line that's kind of inverse to it is the percentage of completion. So the ones all the way at the top, they don't have any digital, or they don't have any non-digital capable radios and so forth. So that's specific to mobiles. We haven't been able to fully complete that inventory with portables just because people have them at home and there's not a great countywide inventory. We're going to work to remedy that as we go through and touch radios. But
I do want to applaud the rescue department. If you want to look through that, is most of them have already been done as we've asked 2 years ago to happen. So over the last 2 years, I see there's one at Rescue 4 and then 7 and 8, and I know they're already working on those.
that's been-
that's been identified. We're just waiting on radios. So I really think on the rescue side that on the mobile radios, they're all going to be taken care of in the near future. Waiting on radios is actually what we're waiting on.
The reason I ask that is because the big purchase is gonna be portable radios.
Uh,
And,
Don't disagree with that, but
and if we switch over to the new way of dispatching, how are members gonna be affected that don't have digital portable radios?
I go back to, this is year 5 of us telling you, you had to have digital radios. Year 5. Okay, so yes, it's a huge thing. But there is funding there's been funding every year to the departments, okay? And, if a little bit was done and the rescue squads have gotten their vehicles done, that should not be. The other thing is in 7 and 8's situation, there's 3 people on your department that aren't part of another squad.
Okay.
Why do they need 2 radios?
Oh, no, definitely not.
So you had to buy 3 radios in 5 years, and everyone would have a digital radio if the other department, or if you work together, you'd only pay half of that. If they're on special rescue and dive, you see, I mean, there's only, very few people that aren't part of another department already. There's no reason to issue someone 2 radios. If they're part of Rescue One, or vice versa, that same radio works.
7 and 8 has always made that policy,
Yeah.
that if they're a member of another rescue squad or fire department, we're not gonna give them a radio.
Right.
So,
That's good. But I mean, that helps everybody.
Right.
Or work it out to where you buy a radio and the Rescue One doesn't have to.
Yeah.
If because Rescue One, got lots of members and running lots of calls. And they're strapped for money, they're running lots of calls. I mean, you look at the call numbers in the call list, so.
I'll just reiterate, Aaron and I are more than happy to help you guys, look for grant opportunities, funding to, if you got chiefs that have concerns or you got a lot of non-digital radios that you're needing to try to figure out a solution for, just communicate with us and we're happy to work with you every way we can to make sure that, we're reaching a good solution. The very last slide on that's just my contact information, Aaron's contact information, our office number. I'll just highlight, I've talked about the phone system upgrade. Today, if you call our main office number as it sits, you'll get Miss Cindy like you normally would. Next week-ish, if you call, you'll get a, press 1 to talk to XYZ, that kind of thing. So if that happens, that's to be expected. That'll be sometime next week that we're making that switch just as part of the phone system upgrade. And then every person in all the county offices has a direct line to their desk that is probably in their email signature. So if you need a way to get directly to somebody and not have to listen to all the menus, then just get their direct number and it'll go to their desk, or you can certainly call our cell phones anytime, but just wanted to make you guys aware of that. It's not change with the phones. Any other questions?
Mr. Jackman, did you have a question earlier?
No, I didn't have the packet. I got you, let it give me the packet.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. No problem.
The only one that I've got is, obviously, each dealer and vendor is very different, so who did we use to come up with these prices for each model?
So the Motorola and the Kenwood options are on state contract now, so those are the state contract prices. And with the pricing should be pretty similar as long as they're using on the Motorola side, so local pricing or, South Carolina state contract for Kenwood, but, if you're seeing a lot of disparities, we're happy to help navigate some of that.
Thank you for putting this together.
Absolutely, yeah. The other one thing I wanted to just quickly highlight, since you mentioned the purchasing and pricing and stuff, certainly you guys are welcome to buy your own radios or make purchases within your own departments. If you would rather us handle it for you, we're happy to do that. That's not a problem. We'll just work out the logistics and get an order placed for you and return it programmed. So just let us know what you need. We're happy to help.
Thank you.
All right. I knew he had a lot of information about all the different stuff that's going on, and it's really progressing fast. The next one is a rescue vehicle update. Mike went over the new vehicles, the one that's in the budget, and then the Salem's that was left over from last year. We hope to get in the system really quickly. You're gonna hear the comms vehicle that he brought up. If you find yourself in an area, if it's a rescue call, if it's a dive call, if it's a water call, if it's a extended range call, whatever it is, the comms vehicle, we're gonna try to set it up to support that kind of operation with different features and with people that, can help in the radio world, for those vehicles. But when we're talking vehicles and new vehicles and all of that, we need to be very cognizant of the vehicle itself. It is a billboard. And I have received multiple complaints lately about speed, about reckless driving, about where we park, and we're a big billboard. Now, sometimes I can figure out, and it happens to be the hospital. Sometimes it's not a county vehicle, it's a rescue squad owned vehicle. But to the general public, it's we're everybody. And we just have to take those, and I take them and I look at them. So if you would, please push it down. We're driving a big billboard. We need to make sure that we, drive appropriately. And unfortunately, we have to drive more courteous, than others, even though we're driving aggressive to get where we're going. And so, if, we can just pay attention to that as we move forward, with that. So that's all I got.
If there's no questions, we'll move into rescue squad updates, Region 1, Commissioner McCormick.
I spoke to Chief Fuller today. They've got another member coming in. There was a holdup with a certification of some sort. I think Zach was working on getting that straightened out, and they're adding a new member to the mix. They have made great strides since the beginning of the year, getting the call number, response rate up. Hope to get that even higher with the new member coming. They really want to do a great job, and applaud them for that. Rescue 1, we've had, again, I've said it several months in a row, just want to be encouraging to Station 21. They've been amazing to work with. It's a great crew. I think this is probably my third month applauding them, but just continue to have great experiences working alongside them in a great working relationship. So if you get a chance, stop by and encourage them. They're amazing people. We've had 2 water calls recently. We had a possible drowning at South Cove. We had a diver there with the dive team and ourselves on scene rather quickly. And we had the other dive call over on Hartwell, where we had a diver and a Sheriff's Department diver in the water for that recovery. We had a good tour with Station 21 to South Cove County Park with the Rangers, and finally figured out the campsite system numbering, so we can get there in a quicker amount of time. And I think we've got our incident command class coming up on the 12th of August. If anybody needs it for their squad, if you missed yours, you're welcome to come to ours. August 12th, Seneca Rescue. It's a Monday night. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Region 2, Commissioner Wilbanks.
We are currently doing a lot of work on getting a training room set up where we can have our trainings and keep everything set up for that, so that hopefully we're not having to move around so much. Working on that a couple of weekends here this month, so progress being made there. We've been busy with calls, not, of course, as much as some others, but for us, we have been busy. Things are going well. Got another new member that joined at the last meeting, was voted on. So anxious to getting some new members on board that are in that younger generation. So we're all excited about that. For Rescue 6, their chief informed me that he had stepped down, and Chief Carroll, if you would like to offer any other information on that.
Yes, ma'am. Last Thursday, I received a phone call about this. Went up to he had called a special meeting at the Rescue 6. Leadership did come, what they have. Sitting down with them, looking over things. You can look at the response rates for the last couple months have been down. And that's due to members who, after many years of serving, have stepped away, decided to retire from it. And it was already, very sparse number of responders up there to begin with. So, talked with Chief Smith, and we already talked about this before, but adding the squad automatically on all the responses up there. So that was done. Hasn't been taken care of in the CAD yet. I'm gonna double check on that again tomorrow. But dispatch consoles did have a note to say, make sure OC1 is going with all the Rescue 6 calls in the Station 4 area. Now, Mid-9 is still running calls, and Station 9 is meeting probably 100% of their calls, taken care of there. Due to the fact that they have not completed reports, they are not gonna receive a quarterly check. They do have someone taking financial responsibility, that oversight of the squad, which is older members, the group of 4. They do have a treasurer working on getting me up-to-date reports. We're working on getting them back together. The fire department they did earlier this year, they had an open house for recruitment. The fire department did gain 1, and they have gained a couple more, and they're gonna talk with those people and see if they're interested in joining the rescue squad. So, working on that. Money-wise, the checks are not gonna matter. They have enough money in the bank to make them last for more than a couple of years at the rate of the call rate. Things that we looked at over the books that they were paying for monthly, they are gonna cut off some stuff that were not needed. And look at some things to improve, gas bill. We found out that some issues with that. So getting all that taken care of and getting everything straight. We're gonna work on some recruitment for them, and get some stuff out there. Rescue 4 has picked up, through their social media campaign, got maybe 1 or 2 new members. We're still working on that, but as of right now, I want to look at moving up to Mount Rest myself, maybe 1 or 2 days a week, just during the day when the squads are not there, and maybe covering different areas, so I'm covering the daytime. So, anybody have any questions?
Move into Region 3, my update. For Rescue 4, morale has already improved with the new vehicle, and it's not even in service yet. Everybody has already came up there and cleaned it numerous times. They're already getting familiarized with it. It's great to see that we've got another vehicle in that building. People smiling, just looking at it. We're just eagerly waiting for it to get put in service. We're running what we can. Did not hear anything from Rescue 5, so if there's no questions, we'll go straight into Region 4. Ms. Raver.
We didn't have a meeting this month. We had a picnic instead. We have our 4 new members that are shadowing the older members. I'm a little disappointed in their enthusiasm, but I don't know. They're younger people. I don't know. Just looking for ways to motivate them. I'm done.
Any questions? Region 5, Commissioner Zahn.
Rescue 7 and 8. Calls are going well. We're getting some new equipment in now. We hope to make a big difference on finding bodies a lot quicker. Hopefully there'll be victims and not recoveries. And things are going smoothly.
Steve, if I can add on that.
Yes, sir.
On the call at Harts Cove, from the time of 911 call to the time the diver in the water to the victim was recovered from approximately 12, 15 feet of water was 20 minutes.
Yep.
That's pretty doggone good.
It's phenomenal.
Resuscitation efforts wasn't, but again, not sure that, how long downtime before the 911 call. So,
On that note, the team has purchased, what they call an Aqua Eye. It's a handheld sonar for those, specifically for the, down to 22 feet, pretty much, real quickly. And Battalion 1 will have one also. So, right now, Battalion 1 are getting trained on it, and then we will be bringing in the company, for 2 different days. We'll open it up to whoever, any of the divers or people that respond. We're gonna do 2 different days. You'll make one of the 2, if you can, to do that training. That company will be coming in for that, so, but it'll be all day. It'll be a long training, but, we're working on that to get you a date, so.
Mike, in addition, that second diver got in real quick, like 3 minutes, I was timing him.
and I think that, well, as long as you can hear the transmission, I know the time, we're gonna have to work, that's something we're gonna have to work on with dispatch and make sure they note, entry times.
Diver in the water, diver out.
And make sure they mark it, because we need that time noted.
If there's no questions, our at-large member, Mr. Jackman, you got anything?
You know, the only thing that Aqua Eye, that is a good handheld sonar. That'll be a big asset to the dive team. The lakes, it just seems like the last couple months, the water rescue calls have been down. I don't know if it's the weather or just a blessing, but it's been nice. Most of ours, on the north end have been, at the dock. I mean, we've had a few across the lake in the storms, but, with kayakers, but most everything we've had has been injuries at the dock. So, we haven't been on the lake too much, so I hope it stays that way. And that's about all I got.
Thank you. Chief Carroll, you got anything else to add?
Yeah, I do have one more on the vehicles. We did have a rescue squad accident this past month. Rescue 1 had a vehicle accident, and the vehicle's currently out of service. So, right now, we do not have a spare.
Is that a county vehicle?
Yes.
There's no further comments or discussion. Item 10, executive session. Do we have a issue or any matter that we need to go into? I do not see a reason. Before we adjourn, I would like to thank Eli for putting that presentation together. It was very nice, and I would also like to apologize to the Fire Service Commission since it looks like we encroached on your time. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? All right, we'll see y'all next time. Thanks.